For those who are only here for the answer on why I don't play mobile game anymore, number one, I don't want to suffer a heart attack, and number two, I don't want to be a toxic person. Hello there, how's it? Ame Gakita desu. So obviously today in the chat we are going to talk about MOBA game, actually which is known as Multiplayer Online Battle Arena. And it's one of the games that I used to play a lot back in my teen, especially more so that when the game Dota 1 was actually quite popular at the time. Although now it's known as Dota 2 with better graphic, with better whatsoever. I mean, like when you kind of like know that the origin of the Dota 1, which is based off the World of Warcraft at the time, it was really popular, and more so I actually play the game a lot. I can play even like the whole damn night and be fine with it. But one of the things I realized that from playing too much Dota at the time, that still despite me knowing about it, and now I'm playing a lot of different mobile games such as Mobile Legends, Vainglory, as well as even the Extraordinary one was kind of like considered one of the mobile game in recent years. Now that being said, in a way, is that it's not because I hate the game or whatever, because if I hate the game, I won't be using like my name Ame Gakita, which was actually origin from a character from Extraordinary one called Ushi, or in Chinese pronounced it as Yu Si, and the name is actually known as Rain Master, but I don't understand why the Western people decided to call him, or I mean her, Sprinkle, but Western being Western. So that being said, it's really one of the combination of this character and the phrase watashi Gakita from All Might in My Hero Academia. Obviously, that's the reason why Ame Gakita, the phrase of my name, came from. Well, that being one of the things, right, it's really kind of like, if I hate mobile game, I won't even use that name. It's because that I love a lot of mobile game that I can't stop playing it. But at the end of the day, I have finally reached the limit that I have to force my hand to say that, hey, I can't play this kind of like competitive game. And I mean, like, you can't really blame when a game is like 5 versus 5 players. I mean, like, you can 5 versus 5 AI as well, but when everything is like always like when you're playing the rank or when you're playing against people, it's always the moment that you have to like keep on winning. Who doesn't like winning, right? I mean, like, when you lose, you start becoming toxic, you start blaming your teammate, and even at time when you come across like people who love to troll the game, or people who just basically just go to the opponent and just keep on dying, or people who is just too good and you keep on playing against them and lose and lose and lose, that I can even lose 10 rank game in one shot, alright? So that was kind of like able to piss me off a lot, but then again, I really kind of like just say that it's just a skill issue on my end. But at the end of the day, when you kind of like lose again, like again and again and again, and then you realize that during the 10 rank game, you have been teaming up with someone who is just basically been throwing and throwing and throwing, basically just keep on losing the game. Obviously, you kind of like a little bit of like like what people would call it toxic. You just start blaming the person, you start saying like it's the person's fault. You won't really like sometimes blame on your skill level, but then again, you can't really like blame on the fault. Is like sometimes you just want to find a scapegoat for your anger. Now that also kind of like one of the reasons why sometimes when you hear the word called mobile toxicity, it is a real thing. It is a moment where kind of like people just want to win, and obviously when you have like both sides wanting to win and people start thinking about who is supposed to win or who is supposed to lose, yeah, that is already the toxicity in a way. And as well as that, there's also someone going with the idea that they just want to blame other people, like they want someone like a scapegoat. Well, it's actually kind of like the secondary reason for why I quit the game. I mean, like, if I can have so many different games, if I lose a lot in Dota, I can just play other games like Mobile Legends or Vainglory or Extraordinary one. I mean, like, it doesn't mean that I should be losing in every single game or in different game format, right? So it's really one of the reasons why I can't really like saying like mobile toxicity. But then again, if it's enough to make me toxic in some form, yeah, I think it's best for me to step away from it. And the main issue for the main reason why I have to quit the game is actually why I don't play fast-paced game or competitive game, even like first-person shooting game, third-person shooting game, or even like some horror game. Hell, even like some of my horror games, if people who notice some of my past horror game like Popular Playtime or Toki Toki Literature Club, right, I never like stream those games in one shot. Reason being is that at the end of the day, it can cause me to have a little bit of stress and generate rush or increasing my heart rate. And in case anyone want to know what is called adrenaline rush, it's basically where you kind of like put yourself preparing for stressful or dangerous situation. And more so like mobile game itself, right, always tend to give you a bit of stress because you want to like be careful on what is your opponent thinking, what is the strategy they will be going to use against you, where would they appear in the map to start taking out your teammate along the line, how are you going to come up with strategy to counter that kind of snowball, or basically that kind of attack where they kind of like hit you and then they run back and then they hit you again and they run back along the line. It is kind of like problem in many ways. And even like sometimes when I'm playing like in middle lane support or even bottom lane, which is basically one of like 3 out of 5 positions that I tend to play as a player. But at times it's like sometimes when you kind of like you have to like don't just farming for material to get all the good item and then start shooting your opponent easily. It's always the time when if you don't be careful, you might end up dying fast or even feeding the enemy, which basically let them be way stronger than you, overpower than you along the line. And that stress, and then the moment where people blame you for the loss as well, yeah, everything kind of like add in the stress, and it kind of like put in unwanted stress in a way, and again it kind of like bring in the toxicity in a way. But it's actually more so that for me, I kind of like don't like the rush at time, because you have to understand I know myself having like history of like I have family history of heart attack. Both my late grandfathers passed away from heart attack, one in his sleep and one in front of me. Well, that being said, it's really one of the moments where I have to like be careful on how I play mobile game. And actually more so that I can play mobile game like I mentioned, I can play 10 rank game in one shot, which sometimes some of the game can last for up to 30 minutes. So imagine like you have to play the whole damn day playing 10 rank game, losing, and then once you stop because due to toxicity or you feel like you just want to stop, and imagine the moment when your hands start shaking non-stop. Yeah, I don't think it's good. Like seriously, I don't think it's good, because it just means that the general is hitting me very hard that I didn't realize it. And for me, like I mentioned, I have a family history of heart attack, so I don't really want to have a moment where I kind of like pass away from a game, you know. Imagine like just out of nowhere a headline saying like a gamer passed away from playing mobile game. So I know that some people love mobile game to the point, but then again you have to understand, for me, I'm not young anymore. I have to care about my health. I'm really at the old age where I care about my own health over game in a way. And as much as I love to talk about games, and sometimes I love to talk about strategy game along the line, but there is also one of the main reasons why I call myself a casual player, or the casual player as the intended pun. Now the thing is, it's really one of the moments that sometimes I just want to play a normal paced game where I just kind of like just want to relax from playing games. I mean, like there are sometimes when people notice that when I play games like Genshin Impact or even like Xena Zone Zero or even Warframe Wave, like when some of the time when you fight against boss, it's like, oh no way, the boss became so hard to kill, and you start showing like you have to like focus on it. And that small little focus, or which I always tend to call it focus mode or Zen mode, is really one of the moment where I just keep silent, focus on taking out the boss or taking out the monster, and by then I would have lost quite a lot of energy from that end. And if the boss fight is like not just like less than 5 minutes, if it's like 30 minutes or whatever, like some of the soul game along the line, yeah, I think I might end up having a heart attack if I keep on playing that. Which is the reason why sometimes when I play like Monster Hunter, right, if I die, I die. If I need to take a 5-minute break, I will take a 5-minute break. Which is the reason why sometimes when I play some of the game, it's like I have to like sometimes just pause it and then just do a little bit of chit chat out of nowhere or discussing things, and I pause the game. It's that moment of pause, right, is really one of the reasons why I have to like give myself the break, to give my like saying like, hey, I need that break, I need to stop. Not saying like the game is bad, not saying the game is not good. If people like it, people like it. But for me, you can't really like pause in a multiplayer online battle arena. Like when you play mobile game, there's no pause. is you are fighting against other people with real people, and in a way, when one pause, it means everyone is pausing, and it is not good. People is not waiting for you to pause; they will just resume the game without you. So at the end of the day, yeah, the main reason, two reasons is just basically game toxicity and as well as my personal health. So I don't think it's really fair for me to just say that I should play the game again. I mean, like, if people want me to play the game, I can, but don't expect me to be competitive again from then on. I mean, like, even sometimes when I play FPS game, I try to play it for fun. I don't really want to play like in competitive moment in a way, because it is not good, again I mentioned, for the heart. But again, for everyone who out there who realize that sometimes when you play too much mobile game, if you start realizing your hand is shaking a lot or your heart is pumping a lot, yeah, you better stay away from this kind of game for a short while. If you want to play the game again and again, it's fine, but taking rest in between is very, very important, because at the end of the day, when you play games that is like giving you the adrenaline rush or raise your heartbeat, yeah, are gonna suffer an early heart attack whether you like it or not. But then again, if you play slowly, fun or casual game, yeah, you are unlikely to suffer from heart attack. But then again, who am I to judge, or who am I to know? So at the end of the day, it is still technically in my speculative thought. It is just a random chat. Whether you agree or disagree, whether you kind of like feel that too many of the game nowadays are very fast paced, or do you think there is a lot of slow paced game along the line? Write in the comment section below, we can discuss it further. If not, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe for more random chat where I talk about stuff that sometimes makes sense, doesn't make sense, or random at time. But the one thing I hope is not random for you guys is have a nice day or night. Bye.